Good evening, Windsor. Coronations are a declaration of our hopes for the future.
Something just shattered the old image of the British monarchy, and it wasn't a scandal, a scandalous biography, or a Netflix drama. It came from deep within the royal halls, calculated, emotional, historic. On a foggy London morning in early August 2025, Buckingham Palace quietly released a proclamation. But what it contained sent shockwaves across every corner of the Commonwealth. Prince William and Catherine, the Princess of Wales, are no longer just future monarchs in waiting. They are now officially leading the crown. Yes, side by side. Not just as figureheads, not just in name, but in power, in responsibility, in duty. William and Kate are now acting heads of state. The proclamation, signed off by a visibly frail but mentally sharp King Charles, confirms that due to the king's ongoing health battle, authority has been transferred. This isn't just a temporary adjustment. This is a structural shift, one that upends centuries of royal tradition. For the first time in modern British history, a married couple has been granted shared regency powers. It's not symbolic, it's not ceremonial. It's power on paper, real and executable. And it comes at a time when the monarchy has never felt more vulnerable or more willing to adapt. Insiders say the king, after months of quiet reflection and private discussions with key advisors, made the decision during a deeply personal family retreat in Balmoral. There, surrounded by the Scottish hills and family memories, Charles is said to have gathered William and Catherine for a moment unlike any before. No staff, no scripts, just a father, a monarch, and the future of the crown. One senior royal aide described it as quietly devastating and profoundly hopeful. Charles, battling through the haze of cancer treatment and fatigue, placed a hand on William's shoulder. His message was simple but seismic. It's your time now. The royal source revealed that Catherine was moved to tears, not out of fear, but out of resolve. They were ready. They didn't blink, the source added. What followed was a weeks-long process of legal maneuvering and constitutional consultation. The Privy Council met in secret chambers alongside the Prime Minister, the Archbishop of Canterbury, and the heads of the royal household. Every word in the Regency Acts was reviewed, and every legal boundary tested. What emerged was a customized document. William and Catherine declared co-regents, empowered to act with full sovereign authority during any period of the king's indisposition, physical or otherwise. But this wasn't just bureaucracy. It was a monarchy reborn. A royal strategist close to the crown said the decision was about more than health. It was about optics, about survival, about transitioning the monarchy from a fragile institution into a relevant strategic force. They didn't want another Diana moment, said one palace source bluntly. They didn't want chaos or confusion. They wanted order. They wanted partnership. And that's exactly what they're getting. William brings military sharpness, diplomatic grace, and an ironclad sense of purpose. Catherine is the quiet architect, the heart, the voice of empathy, and the steel wrapped in silk. Their partnership isn't just modern, it's magnetic. And according to those closest to them, this co-regency has been years in the making. Since 2011, when Catherine first joined the royal family, she's been quietly trained, not just in public etiquette, but in real governance. She sat through silent security briefings. She studied international policy. And behind palace walls, she's built an inner network of advisors, military contacts, charity liaisons, and diplomatic envoys. While others saw photo ops, she was building an empire. Now, for the first time, she has the legal authority to wield that preparation.
One constitutional scholar put it this way: this is not a soft power move. Catherine now has the right to co-sign legislation, represent the crown at state functions, and even veto internal royal decisions. That's unprecedented. That's radical. And it didn't happen in a vacuum. King Charles's health, long rumored to be deteriorating, has finally reached a critical point. While palace spokespeople continue to issue vague statements about resilience and ongoing treatment, the truth behind closed doors is stark. The king's cancer has reportedly spread. He's lost significant weight and his stamina has dropped to levels that make daily public duties unsustainable. At a recent event in Wales, Charles reportedly collapsed backstage and had to be assisted by aides before returning to the royal motorcade. One insider called it a wake-up call he couldn't ignore. The very next morning, he summoned his lawyers. Within 48 hours, the draft Regency Declaration was finalized. The monarchy didn't just flinch, it pivoted. The reaction inside the royal court was intense. Traditionalists were shocked. Some members of the aristocracy viewed Catherine's co-regency as a dangerous disruption to the age-old lineage of singular male power. But Charles shut them down. "This is what leadership looks like," he reportedly said during a private council. "Shared, stable, and future-proof." And that's exactly what William and Catherine are bringing. At a state dinner 2 nights after the announcement, the difference was already visible. Catherine's tone was firmer, her eye contact bolder. William's stance was wider, more assured. They weren't shadowing the throne anymore. They were occupying it. Cameras caught them exchanging quiet nods and short hand gestures, a silent language of trust honed through over a decade of marriage, war room planning, and public pressure. Insiders say their synergy is off the charts. They finish each other's sentences now, in meetings, in interviews, in strategy sessions. "It's like watching one brain in 2 people," said a senior advisor. This isn't a Cinderella story. It's a 2-headed operation. William focuses on military modernization, mental health reform, and global diplomacy. Catherine's power base is built on education, early childhood development, and sustainable community programs. Their portfolios are distinct, but their goals are unified: rebuild the monarchy from the inside out. And they're wasting no time. Within 72 hours of the Regency being announced, Catherine met with leaders from the National Health Service to discuss long-term funding for pediatric mental health programs. William held a virtual summit with Commonwealth heads to reaffirm diplomatic ties and ease fears of instability. These aren't ceremonial roles anymore. These are leaders leading. And the public is noticing. Polling conducted in the days following the announcement shows overwhelming support for the new co-regency, especially among younger demographics who had long felt disconnected from the crown. Gen Z and millennials, often skeptical of royal relevance, are now re-engaging, not because of pageantry, but because of authenticity, because of action, because the monarchy, for once, looks like it's not just surviving, but evolving. Even within their own family, the ripple effect is real. Prince George, now 12, is already being groomed for his eventual role, but with a completely different tone. Sources say William and Catherine are designing a new royal curriculum, one that includes media literacy, emotional intelligence, and crisis management. They want him to lead like a human, not just a figurehead, said a source close to the family. Princess Charlotte, already praised for her composure and natural poise, is shadowing Catherine during select engagements, learning not just protocol, but purpose. And little Prince Louis, the wild card of the family, is reportedly getting his own tailored education plan to support his unique personality without dulling it. It's not about molding the next generation into statues. It's about equipping them with tools, with grace, with resilience. And all of it is happening behind the scenes while the cameras chase after tiaras and dress codes. What they're missing is the engine under the hood, the relentless push to modernize, to streamline, to future-proof the crown. One former palace staffer described the current energy as surgical. Every move William and Catherine make now is calibrated. Every appearance, every statement, every handshake. They're not winging it, they're building something, a monarchy 2.0. And it's not all style and strategy. The emotional core of this transition runs deep. Catherine, having come through a brutal round of preventative chemotherapy in 2024, has reemerged with a quiet fire. Friends describe her as more focused than ever, more emotionally attuned, and shockingly precise in her decision-making. She doesn't flinch anymore. She knows exactly what she wants to accomplish, and she's not wasting time. William, too, has evolved. Those who once dismissed him as a softer version of his father now say he's become a hybrid, Charles's intellect with Diana's emotional intelligence. One senior royal advisor put it bluntly, he's a king already, He just doesn't wear the crown yet. Behind palace walls, there's a tactical campaign underway, one designed to consolidate power without triggering public backlash. Catherine is reportedly overseeing a digital transformation of the monarchy's communication strategy, aiming to make royal updates more transparent, less stiff, and more relatable. Think direct video messages, interactive live streams, and behind-the-scenes clips of royal engagements. Not filtered, not fluffed, just real. The crown isn't being handed down, it's being remade by the very people who are supposed to inherit it. Every whisper, every detail, every nod between William and Catherine now carries weight. They're not acting as heirs, they're acting as leaders. And whether the public, the aristocracy, or even the Commonwealth is ready for it or not, the shift has already begun.